Hey guys and girls, welcome back. We're gonna go talk to Mr. Grimm. He's here talking to our boss. Excuse us. Hey, what took so long? Sorry to be intruding. So it was Mr. Grimm, what? It's not every day you decide to visit us. Yes, well, I had some matters to discuss with Sergey. Since I was in the neighborhood, I took the opportunity to stop by. Matters to discuss? Yeah, I'll cut to the heart of it. It's about Kia's identity. Oh, then did you... You guys figure anything out? Unfortunately not. It seems a request was also submitted to the guild, but I, at Sergey's behest, explored another possibility. Unfortunately, it wasn't... No. Actually, I'm pleased to say the possibility I looked into was a bust. You were happy it was a bust? Right. It was pertaining to a story several years ago. There were multiple cases of child abduction primarily being focused in the Calvard Republic. Child abduction? Horrible. I'll omit the more unnecessary details, but it was a pretty massive scandal. Because Calvard wasn't the only country targeted, an international investigation team was created to get to the bottom. Each country's army, police forces, the Bracer Guild, you name it. Everyone cooperated to put an end to that mess. That's crazy. It's the first I've heard of it. Same here. Since it was kept under wraps, it must have been pretty damn serious. Yes, eventually the case was closed. Due to its nature, in the end, the case was treated as strictly confidential. The only reason I know about it is because I was involved, serving as an advisor. Please, hold on a second. You're saying there's a chance Kia could be one of the victims from this whole abduction incident? I thought the same thing, so I searched through the case records. To my relief, I was unable to find any children who matched Kia's description. For the record, the men responsible for these horrors were almost all arrested and the rest committed suicide. Today I simply came to inform Sergey of my findings. I see. I'm relieved that Kia wasn't a part of that, but the fact that it actually happened... I would have ended up telling you about all this eventually. Anyway, we're back to square one with Kia. Well, no skin off our back, right? Just gotta keep looking after the kiddo until we find one of her relatives. Right. I'd appreciate it if you kept sheltering the child here. But in case we can't end up finding a relative, we should consider entrusting her to a foster family, or to a church orphanage. Hold on. But you all need to wrap your heads around those possibilities. Adopting a kid and properly raising them, that's not something you can jump into half-assed. Half-assed. No matter how adorable she may be. That might be true. It's probably a bit more difficult than taking in a stray kitten or something. I'm sorry, everyone. Sounds like I brought down the mood a bit. You all just returned from a long day of work, correct? I imagine you have a report to finish, so it's about time I excuse myself. No, please wait. The truth is, there's something we were planning on consulting you about. Oh, with me? Yes, actually. So you were working on the missing persons case. Sounds like a job for the SSS, alright. It didn't seem like anything illegal was going on, so we just left him how he was. I wonder if we should have tried a little harder to get him to go home. Well, that's a complicated question. If a bracer tried to, there's a possibility that he'd listen to reason, or at least negotiate, but if a police officer tried to, odds are that the whole situation would turn into a giant fiasco. It's a pretty thin demarcation. I was afraid you'd say that. Guy was old enough to make his own decisions, so unfortunately it's none of our business. If he were just some brat, we could have given him a spanking and taken him home. That's true. However, you mentioned he gained gambling skill, luck, and intuition, like he was a different man. Ian, something about this rub you the wrong way? Well, it might be just a coincidence, but Lately, 2 other similar stories have come to my attention. No kidding. You telling me there's not 1 but 3 lucky bastards who hit the jackpot? No, it's a bit different. The stories I heard about involve a stockbroker who works for a security firm and the manager of a trading company. Recently, both companies sustained heavy losses and were almost in the red, but in the last few days, they seem to have experienced an incredible rebound. I could hardly believe it until I saw the numbers, especially that stockbroker. Story goes that he brought in and sold stocks with unprecedented luck and intuition, as if he could see the future. Sounds pretty familiar. Don't worry, I'm sure it's only a coincidence. From what I've heard, their attitudes have changed in addition to their skills. They've supposedly become extremely arrogant. That tidbit piqued my interest. That's definitely strange. Hey, Ian. Any chance you know the background of these 2? No, not yet, but if you're interested, I can start researching. You want to check possible ties, I presume? Yeah, possible. Something catch your attention, Chief? When you're in business, Lloyd, it never hurts to have all the information you can. It's as simple as that. Oh, I understand. Guy told me something like that too. That the decisive factors in an investigation are intuition and the information you uncover. Well then, don't get out of your way now. If you ever have anything bothering you, don't hesitate to stop by my office. I'll do everything in my power to help out. Thank you very much, Mr. Grimwood. When the time comes, we'll come knocking. Rivas managed to recover their smuggling routes. Yes, sir. 3 of the routes were decimated over the last week, have already been reorganized. We've been trying to impede them, but their resilience was most unexpected. How curious. I was led to believe that they didn't have the manpower to accomplish such a thing. Did their boss finally involve himself in their restoration efforts? That's the strangest part. The killing bear was nowhere to be found. This appeared to solely be the work of subordinates. The reports state that they only brought enough for a small army. Not only that, but there were no warhounds present either. How interesting. Now I'm even more curious. Had this been a battle of numbers, Heyu should have come out victorious. Did they employ those Reinford heavy machine guns, perhaps? Yes, actually, their main force appeared to have been armed with them. However, the report also mentioned that their battle prowess has skyrocketed. Interesting. I get the impression Don Marconi is trying his damnedest to appease the speaker and quell his rage. I don't recall any new reports of Jaegers being employed or any training exercises being held either. Very peculiar. Indeed. Are you implying that they've acquired a trump card from right under our noses? Precisely. When comparing our respective trump cards, I get the feeling that theirs is extraordinary. Much like Master Yen, I believe that there is a wild card, one that can turn the tides of battle at a moment's notice. Damn them. What in the world is it then? What was that? Ah yes, speak of the devil, and he shall come. We've got a big problem on our hands. A group of men draped in black are unloading rounds into the building. Ravash, I think. There's about 10 of them, and the killing bear is in one of them. There are only 10 measly grunts. Hurry up and finish them. And don't worry about the police. This is self-defense, so anything goes. Well, the thing is, those guys aren't human, I'm telling you. They're holding massive machine guns with just one hand. The first floor has been breached. It's only a matter of time before they reach us, sir. Damn it. If only Master Yin was here. Oh dear. I don't think I'll be able to outwit them in a barbaric situation like this. Master Cao? You don't mean... We're leaving, Lao. Relying on Yin for a petty squabble like this would be a stain on Heiyu's name. Come, let us demonstrate our might as the conquerors of the Eastern Quarter. This girl is full of surprises. You're telling me that Kia cooked all of these sunny-side-up eggs for us? She sure did. Her technique was so good that I found myself taking mental notes while watching. Fried eggs with a bit of runny yolk. Nice. Get a load of this bacon, too. It's like perfectly crisp. She does seem to have quite the knack for the culinary arts. Yesterday's cream stew was basically her own creation. Are you sure you haven't had any prior cooking experience, Kia? I don't know. Maybe. Whenever I cook, it's like my hands are moving on their own. Well, I guess it's true that cooking is more through personal experience than anything else, but the fact that she's this talented at her age is pretty amazing. Hey, Tio, I was wondering, do you feel okay today? You look fine as far as I can tell. Don't you think it'd be better to take the day off and rest? No, I'm fine. After all, I went to bed quite a bit earlier than usual. You can if need be. I don't think we have any urgent requests to take care of, so we can always wait and see how you're feeling. A call? Pretty early for that, ain't it? Is it Fran? I'll check. Hello? Lloyd Bannings of the Special Yeah, I know already. Now where the heck are you? What are you doing? Jonah. Wow, I wasn't expecting a night owl like yourself to be awake this early. Implying I didn't pull it all-nighter. But enough about that, it doesn't matter. From how free you sound, I bet you don't know anything at all. Don't know what? So you don't know. Well then, I, the great brilliant Jonah, would do you a favor. In the dead of night yesterday, well technically today, I guess, but that's beside the point. Either way, Hayes' office building was raided by someone. What? They were caught completely off guard, too. No offense, all defense, you know. Apparently, they took some serious damage. If you ask me, it had to have been done by those Ravage guys. It's not outside the realm of possibility. Thanks for the heads up, Jonah. You owe me one, Lloyd. That was Jonah? Yeah, something crazy's popped up. Is that really true, Lloyd? That's freaking insane. It's bold to pull off such a thing in the city, even if it was in the middle of the night. What? Interesting development. If true, it'd be anything that I'd bet anything that the First Division has already jumped on the case. If it bothers you that much, go check it out, but only after you finish eating. Will do, sir. Alright, will you be good to go, Tia? Yes, of course. We can walk over to the Harbor District after we finish. Damn, look at that. I did tear them up pretty bad. This place is a mess. A raid will do that. Yep, this confirms it. I'm seeing traces of heavy weaponry all over. At least they didn't resort to blowing them up with explosives. I see you guys are on the scene too. Hey, friends. How's the situation? Franz. We rushed out here as soon as we heard the news. I don't know much. All I've heard is that shots were fired in the middle of the night. Dudley and the others are in the middle of conducting an investigation. It sounds like the First Division took on the case immediately. Well, they are highly coordinated. We'd like to ask the members of Hayes some questions. Do you mind letting us inside? I suppose I could. I was only told to not let civilians pass through. You'll have to make an excuse to Dudley for me, though. Of course. Thanks for helping us out. Damn. They wrecked this place. Look at all the shots. Cal, my apologies for intruding. We wish to collaborate with you, so would you be willing to share details of the raid? You'll have to forgive me. After all, it was late into the night. I haven't the foggiest idea of whom the assailants may be or why they targeted our humble company. Even so, it appears you were able to mount an efficient defense. The first and second floors are devastated, yet this room remains spotless. How in the world were you able to fend off assailants armed with heavy machine guns? I'll admit, it was tricky. However, we managed to escape the clutches of our assailants for the most part. Many of our men were sent to St. Ursula, dear. Oh dear. What a disaster. You have my condolences. If you'll... Excuse us. You four. What's the special support section doing here? Why, good morning, Detective Bannings. I see the rest of you are in attendance too. Pardon our interruption, Cal. I know you're busy with the aftermath of the raid, but could I borrow a minute of your time? Anything for you, my friend. If you'll excuse us then, Dudley. I appreciate you having stopped by. Damn. We'll step aside then. This irritates me to no end, but I'm leaving this snake to you. Try to get what you can out of him. Yes, sir. It has been quite some time, my friends. I hear you all had quite the adventure on the final day of the anniversary festival, correct? I'm assuming Yin has already informed you. As you know, the Special Support Section doesn't follow conventional investigative protocol. And with that in mind, how about you go ahead and tell us your true intentions? Oh, what's this? Lloyd! There's no point wasting our time with his usual song and dance. Not only that, but we have a lot of ground to cover with Cal. I figured I'd get straight to the point. Whoa, Lloyd. Pretty gutsy move, eh? I'm surprised, Lloyd. It's rare to see you act audaciously. Lloyd ain't playing no games. Exactly as I had anticipated, Mr. Bannings. I had seen this coming from the beginning. Very well. I'm not particularly fond of trivial exchanges anyway. If your questions are within the realm of my knowledge, I will provide the answers you seek. Thank you, Cal. I wanted to ask you about these 3 topics. Are you positive Ravash is behind last night's raid? Can you say for certain that the attack wasn't carried out by a third party? I highly doubt it was anyone other than Ravash. If you would elaborate for them, Lao. Sir, the assailants may have been masked to conceal their identities, but there's no doubt it was Ravash's men. Their weapons and combat style were identical to Ravash. Simpletons like them aren't capable of using basic techniques to help conceal their identities. I see. In that case, something's still rubbing me the wrong way. I hear you dudes are all pretty damn good martial artists. Your main man Lao here looks like he could hand out beatings left and right. You flatter me. Though on the other hand, Ravash ain't no slouch either. When it comes to combat, they're about on par with you guys, right? So then how'd you guys get trashed so hard by a handful of their thugs? Was that old Killing Bear leading the charge or something? No, I don't believe he participated. Neither did his right-hand man, for that matter. We believe Ravash's regular combat personnel to be behind the attack. If that's the case, then how? Though their techniques were simple, their speed and power were beyond comprehension. They were able to brandish those heavy machine guns single-handedly. Our defenses were easily crushed by their unnatural strength. They overtook the first 2 floors with ease. No fooling. It wasn't only limited to their power and speed either. They had inhuman endurance as well. And thanks to that, they were able to execute a few dangerous techniques. Dangerous? Like what? You seem pretty knowledgeable about combat yourself, Cal. I'm nothing but an amateur compared to Master Yin. I get straight to the point, Cal. How do you plan to respond to their raid? Oh, what kind of question is that? Take a moment to ponder on what kind of organization Heyu is. You found your answer, correct? So you're after revenge? Oh, please, keep such scandalous rumors to yourself. I've been merely referring to crisis management at the end of the day. We only seek profit. And in situations where our profit is threatened, it is my sworn duty to crush our antagonizers through the appropriate method. I fail to see what's so strange about that. Yeah? What an annoyingly shrewd man. Does requesting assistance from Heyu's main office lie among those proper methods? He's calling in the big guns from Heyu's main, huh? Awfully blunt, aren't we? My pride is at stake here. I have no such plans at this moment. Furthermore, there's no guarantee the main office will respect my wishes. They may intervene regardless. Well, I should be able to stave off direct intervention. For a little while, at least. Either way, we lack the proper knowledge on Ravash's current state, so we don't have an effective countermeasure. We're simply investigating their movements for the time being. They're our most reliable and cooperative employee, in fact. You requested Yin's assistance? He's the best of the best for these kind of undercover missions. This isn't directly related to the case in the question, but I figured I'd ask while I'm already here. Do you really not know anything about Kia? Are you sure, Lloyd? Kia, you said? Is that a person's name or perhaps some kind of code? Forgive me for speaking out of line. You're more serious than I expected. All I know is that Kia is the name of that little girl you took into custody after the Schwartz auction. Well, and that our dear collaborators offered you a small piece of advice there. A large leather trunk will be exhibited in the second half of the auction. Inside the trunk is a bomb, which will only serve to jeopardize Ravash's position. We were able to receive that piece of information via our own networks. We've had no means of discerning who this informant was as of yet. However, in some ways, that only made it more credible. We wanted to be certain, so we asked our dear Master Yin to go check on it. Even in my wildest dreams, I never expected the true identity of the bomb to appear in the form it did. Damn, looks like he's gonna feign ignorance. Let's assume you're telling the truth. Do you have an inkling as to who that informant might have been? Logically speaking, a bombshell of this magnitude points to the actions of a Ravash defector. However, taking into account the skill required to convey the information to us, they must be adept. At any rate, this is as far as our knowledge goes. I'd appreciate it if you believed me. Understood. Thanks. Now then, does this conclude? Yes, for the moment. I appreciate your cooperation. Do you mind if I give the department an outline of what we discussed? Do as you like, my friend. By the way, Detective Bannings. What's up? I'll be honest with you. This raid was far beyond what I thought Ravash was capable of. I was under the impression that I was fully cognizant of Ravash's strength, connections, and patterns. Yet they were able to pull off such a brazen attack on us in their weakened state. They've splendidly surpassed all my expectations. I must say, I'm unbelievably excited for what's to come. I cannot recall a moment in the last few years where a situation didn't proceed in the way I had planned. I can finally wield my intellect to crush my foes without remorse. This truly is an indescribable joy. Dude, Jill. You're unbelievable. Do not think for 1 second that I will allow the police to ruin my fun. Although you're special, so I'll grant you a unique opportunity to, so to speak. Will you be able to broker a resolution between both groups before Heyu begins its all-out retaliation? I'll be eagerly awaiting your next move. Well, that was something. They gave us plenty of useful information to work with, but I can't believe they suggested the high possibility of a full-blown conflict. If things keep heating up the way they have, then it's about to get real messy. We're screwed if they decide to have a firefight in the middle of town. Additionally, we have to consider the possibility that he may call for reinforcements. Military action may be imminent. Sounds like we have a bit of time still, judging by what Cal said. At any rate, we can't leave Ravash unchecked any longer. We need to start looking into it before he mobilizes their forces. I agree. Shall we visit each of the districts and question the citizens? No, we don't have enough time. I think it's time we go straight to the source. Let's go get our answers from Ravash directly. You're kidding. We may have gone there once, but still. That was before the incident at the auction. Are we not acting recklessly? Yeah, I can't imagine they'd overlook anything outside of Kia's case. There's something else I'm concerned about, though. What might that be? Garcia's movements. We've quarreled with him before, but he never seemed the type to be reckless. I was under the impression that he had a strong command over his subordinates. I'm pretty sure I first heard of him when he was a commanding officer in Zephyr. Didn't think he'd order his men to launch an assault on Heyu like that. Well, there's a chance he ordered the attack on Heyu. It's entirely possible that his subordinates acted independently. I'd certainly like to get to the bottom of this. I agree. It'd be a good idea to search for clues around their base. Do you guys want to head there now? We don't have a choice, do we? As long as we remain outside of the perimeter, the level of risk will be low. Let's go have ourselves a little stakeout. Oops, I didn't mean to go backwards. Just like I thought, there are more guards posted here than usual. They're looking way more pissed than I was expecting, too. Impatient, excited, vigilant, anxious. I'm feeling a giant cluster of those emotions radiating from them. There's no mistaking it. They must be on high alert for any retaliation from Heyu. This isn't going to be easy. For now, ascertain Garcia's movements should be... What the hell do you think you're doing here? Hey, look who it is. Garcia Rossi. Damn, that monster managed to conceal his presence. It's you guys. You have the audacity to show your faces around here after all the shit you've put us through? I won't make any excuses. Our deal with you only concerns Kia and Kia alone. Then we're understood. If you use our deal as an excuse to come waltzing into our territory, I'm going to beat the ever-loving hell out of you. Well, aren't we a dangerous old dude? I'm fully aware of why you're snooping. However, you won't be getting a single word out of me on that matter. If you understand, then get lost. Damn. Please, just tell me one thing. If hypothetically you were to attack an armed enemy stronghold, would you attack from the vanguard, leaving everything to brute strength? An upstanding Jaeger like myself would never adopt such a poor strategy. I'd wait until the conditions were favorable and wreak the most havoc while minimizing casualties. Wouldn't you do the same, son of the war god? Don't you ever call me that again. But yes, that's how Jaegers operate. Is that so? Thank you. I appreciate the answer. You're a strange kid. But anyway, you better not come in here unprepared, you hear me? I promise, you'll be torn to shreds. This entire situation feels a little off to me. They're tense, yet they seem dejected, as if they've been weakened. So it wasn't just me then. I didn't have the nerve to say it, but I couldn't sense any bloodlust from him. They expressed signs of fatigue. I can relate with them on that front. What in the world happened to Ravash? Damn, doesn't suit him making faces like that. Wouldn't you guys like to know the reason for their glum faces? Grace. Woman, you have a knack for appearing in the most random places. What can I say? My reporter spirit guides me to the juiciest of scoops. Anyway, let's proceed with the usual give and take. I'll be anxiously awaiting your arrival at the jazz bar. How should we proceed? If she plans to talk, we'll hear her out. We should be cautious around her. I don't want us accidentally leaking anything. Duly noted.